Dear chess friends, welcome to my Peek Inside video, which is dedicated to my opening course, Sabotage the Slav, which has been published on Chessable platform a few weeks ago. Let me first introduce myself and my chess credentials. I reached my peak rating 2668 back in 2010. I won 2 Israeli men championships as well as being the member of Israeli national team during 6 chess Olympiads. During those Olympiads, I won 2 individual medals, gold in 1998 in Lista and silver in 2006 Turin, Italy. The best team accomplishment was silver medal in Dresden 2008 Olympiad. I started my coaching career back in 1999, where surprisingly I was recruited by Teimur Ajabov's parents. After that, I worked with other elite players such as Vladimir Kramnik, Fabiano Caruana, Wesley So, as well as being the member of Boris Gelfan's team during his World Championship match against Vishwanathan Anand. Chessable gives chess players the option of studying material in 3 different ways. And to compare with other platforms, it's very unique because mostly you get 1 or maybe 2 options of study at best case scenario. Now, what do we have in Chessable? First of all, you have the book format, so similar to PDF, so you can read, you can see the moves, you can read the text. Now, the second option is probably the most unique option. It's called Move Trainer. So this special feature allows you to memorize the moves, and it will indicate the places where you failed and will schedule repetitions and so on. So definitely helpful, because with this question, how to memorize openings, very often arises among all my students. Now, and the third option, finally, you have videos similar to YouTube, where you can watch videos and study through the videos, which is from my personal experience, I noticed a very popular options, and many of my students prefer to watch videos. We have different chapters here, starting from introduction, so that's just general idea what is behind Queen B3 Slav. So here we have this so-called first chapter. Now there is number 1, it's a quick starter guide, so basically covering all the lines in very short format, but probably it would be enough, I would assume, already to play this line. Maybe it's not such a deep knowledge, but already you get introduction into the ideas, and you can already start playing this. And after that, we start with the lines. Now, first of all, on move 4, basically I'm considering move DC4 as a top choice, so that comes as alternatives. Now starting with move 4 e6, so it's a very popular move, but it's considered like alternative. So move 4 e6, and here you have you can see different chapters, e6 and dc4, now followed by queen b6 and so on. We take this back. Now there are lines with 4 e6. Now there is another move on move 4 right after queen b3. We have queen b6. We have the moves such as a6 and g6, maybe not very common, but very important to know how we should react. Now we have the idea. Now finally we're slowly approaching the main line. So here we have move 5 b5. So after dc4, queen c4 b5, and finally one of the top lines, the most popular lines, is dc4, queen c4, bishop f5. And 2 last chapters before we move into model games, it's about the main line that I consider maybe the most challenging line. This is where black takes on c4, queen c4, and playing bishop g4. So we have a line. Here I'm providing 2 different options. One is more positional and another more aggressive. So you have more positional approach, which is knight bd2, and the second approach is knight c3, which is more aggressive. So what I also explain in my videos, that basically every player can choose something that fits his style maybe, or the tournament situation. So like if you maybe need to play safe, you can opt for knight d2. If like you're in more aggressive mood, maybe must-win situation, I think probably knight c3 is the option. Finally, there is a chapter with model games. So it's 10 model games, my personal games, so my personal experience. So this is not the line that I'm just covering, and I have no idea about that, but it's rather like my personal experience, so you can see how it's developed, how I play different lines. So it's quite interesting. So here's something that, as I mentioned before, that by doing this video, which is quite long, but you already can get the idea of practically, well, all the variations. After watching this video, I think like you can easily play this line. Maybe it's not so deep knowledge, but that's already something that you can easily implement in your own games. So here it goes, like every chapter covered, like it starts with queen b6. Like now in my introduction video, I did a little bit different setup. So let's say I believe that the move queen b6 in this position, for instance, is something that might occur in many games, especially against the players who are not familiar with the theory very well. So here, like queen b6 line covered, where we proceed with the like very important idea. So that's queen b3 first line. There will be another line where black is jumping bishop b5, so that will be a second line, I guess. Now we have, yeah, so that's the second line where like dc4 captured. So it's also like divided into different chapters. So like every line it's a little bit different and independent. So here in this position we have queen b3, knight c3, so another move. So every response from black, it's a different chapter, it's a different video, so you can watch. So here we have dc4, queen c4, and so on. Now finally with this queen b6, I think the chapter number 3, we scroll down, so there is this bishop f5, which is probably the most popular move in this position. So after queen b3, queen b6, knight c3, bishop f5. So that's the most important line and the most important idea to memorize. So we play c5, and here after queen b3, a b3, we get a file open, and so we try to get to deliver b4, b5 break. Now, taking back everything here, this is quick start guide, and just I wanted to show you how everything like split into different chapters, different variations, so like you're gonna feel comfortable, and that's, once again, I would like to repeat, it's a like pretty brief lines that you just get the main idea, like not going very deep, but again, I believe it's quite enough to play and to implement this line. Maybe not on the Grandmaster level, but at least until level 2300, it might be like pretty nice material to start with. How you can benefit from queen b3 variation in Slav? I believe, first of all, it's not so theoretical like all the mainstream lines. Let's say if we play knight f3, knight c3, or knight f3, e3, which is, by the way, recommended in my books, but it's a massive amount of theory. So here, of course, it's much less. It's in my opinion, slightly underrated system. You can get still very interesting play. It's slightly underrated, but at the same time, I believe it's very challenging, and like now one of the pluses as well. So that, let's say if I would take level before, let's say, title players, there is a very good chance that your opponent is not familiar with the theory, or not like studied it really well. Maybe he saw like 1-2 games and didn't take it seriously. That's potentially a possibility. So here, where like you can face move queen b3, queen b6, my favorite line, as I mentioned before. Now one of the another pluses that, let's say, in the main line you have choices. As I mentioned, bishop g4, you have a choice. You can go aggressive, you can go more positional. Overall, I'm quite happy with this line. I still keep playing this line. It's like really, in many cases, people are not like, well prepared. Like I'm not playing at the level that it's like let's say, a huge surprise for my opponents, but at least in some way it takes them off guard, because it's not the line that they have been working very hard. Yeah, it's Slav players usually work on the main lines, and there are like a lot of like heavy theory there. Of course, it goes without saying that Slav Defense is very, very popular and reliable opening, played on different levels, starting from, like, I guess, club players and all the way to the top. You can see a lot of games of like elite players who play Slav, and I guess they're quite happy about this. It's very good, like, reliable reputation for this opening. On the other hand, let's see how this queen b3 will transpire on your practice. I hope you will enjoy my work. You'll understand all the ideas, and the most important, as I always say, it's about like how many points you score, right? So that's what I want, like, to bring you, like, a new line. So after another point that I wanted to make, it's rather last point. Hopefully when you study this material and like you study this in depth and you have videos and memorize the line, you have the advantage. It's always like very nice to start game with advantage. So like to be off to the good start with maybe better position and time advantage. And hopefully this will, like, you would be able to capitalize those advantages into scoring points. Good luck, guys. Hope to see you again on Chessable, and thanks for watching this video.